Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. As the search for the second black box and other remains of the crashed China Eastern Airlines plane continues, more information keeps coming. Also, two viewers who have knowledge of the aviation industry gave me some very valuable information after they watched my last show about this incident. So I will present what I learned from them today. Like I said last time, in this early stage of the investigation, it doesn't hurt that we present all what we know so that everything can be considered. Before we go to our topic today, a Shen Yun video first.
See China before communism. You're not just watching a performance. You're witnessing a culture reborn. Rediscover hope with Shen Yun.
I feel better about the world. I feel uplifted.
It gave me hope that even in places and times of oppression and darkness, so much light can come out of that.
And you go away feeling with a smile in your heart from it.
It's bringing the heart of true China to the public. It was beautiful.
It touches you. It really does. Every American needs to see it.
Have to come. Life-changing.
Make sure you see it. Make sure you see it.
Okay, make sure you see it. And make sure you buy tickets from shenyun.show/Jennifer-Zheng to save the handling fee. Now, let's move on to our main topic today. First, several quick updates. The first update is a black box for the crashed plane was found yesterday, that's March 23rd. It was reported that the black box was badly damaged and it could be the cockpit voice recorder. Even before any investigation was done, the CCP's mouthpiece People's Daily already started to say, quote, data downloading and analysis is ongoing, and the possibility of corrupted memory units cannot be ruled out at this time, unquote. When I shared this news, someone left a comment in Chinese and said, finding the black box is not a big deal. What matters is who has the right to interpret what is in the black box. Well, I guess that is the case. Just like it doesn't matter who votes. What matters is who counts the votes, right? If the CCP just doesn't tell us what is in the black box, there is no difference between whether it was found or not. The village of the crash site has been now blocked as expected, so no other people can get close. The second update is Chinese Vice Premier Liu He rushed to the crash site overnight after the incident. This was very unusual because he had never been done this before with other disaster scenes. Why did he go to this one? State Councillor Wang Yong, who is the director of the CCP's National Disaster Reduction Commission, also went there. In the meanwhile, a large number of the CCP's military and armed police were also quickly sent to the scene. According to Xinhua, on the same day of the incident, the CCP's Southern Theater Command immediately started the emergency response mechanism. Soldiers from four brigades were sent there. After the crash, Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang gave different orders. Xi Jinping demanded to immediately start the emergency mechanism, make every effort to search and rescue, and pay attention to the aftermath, while Li Keqiang talked about seeking truth from facts, timely and accurate release of information, identifying the cause of the accident, and doing a good job of reassuring the families of the victims. Officially, Li Keqiang is in charge of the State Council investigation team, so Wang Yong reports to him and should be under his command. In the meantime, Xi Jinping controls the army and the armed force, so Liu He is under Xi Jinping's command. So some Chinese analysts said the reason why both Xi Jinping and Li Keqiang sent their own people to the site is that they don't trust each other. Different factions are also trying to take control of this matter. The third update is, at the press conference about the search effort, a Reuters reporter asked several very good questions in very clear Chinese, including quote, "What is the maintenance record of this aircraft? Were there any problems found in the recent maintenance? What was the pilot's record of flight hours? What was the weather like at the time of the accident? Did the flight crew contact ATC before the crash? If so, what was said? Was the aircraft substantially intact before the crash?" Lately, the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board has nominated an investigator, where the Chinese side invite him to China to assist in the investigation, unquote. Aren't those very good questions? And what are the answers? Well, Shen Yun, chairman and party secretary of the Yunnan branch of China Eastern Airlines, didn't even raise his head. Instead of answering those very good questions, he read from a piece of paper that the following sentences, quote, "The aircraft was in the level flight cruise phase. We are conducting a comprehensive safety hazard survey and currently have sufficient aviation capacity, and the inspections arranged include temporary and preventive measures. We are working in an orderly manner in accordance with civil aviation safety management regulations," unquote. What do you think? I guess those few sentences were prepared by his secretary before the press conference, and he didn't answer the questions at all. So people said from this one fact of how he responded to the questions, we know that Eastern Airlines is not to be trusted, nor is it a qualified airline if its chairman didn't even know how to answer those questions. The fourth update is, after the crash, some Chinese media once reported that during the pandemic, Eastern Airlines had greatly reduced its maintenance budget to save costs. But Eastern Airlines came out to deny that, and that kind of report was soon deleted. By the way, this is a photo I failed to pull up last time. It is the picture that shows how many parts of the Boeing 737 are made in China, all the red ones with numbers are. Now, I'd like to discuss further about whether there could be any connections between the crash and the fact that Eastern Airlines repaired 2 Boeing 737 engine plates on its own. Last time during my live show, when I played this video of Eastern Airlines repairing the plane, a viewer called Zen Knobs left such comments in the live chat box. Okay, as someone with a degree in aerospace engineering, this is why Boeing advises having the aircraft repaired by Boeing. That equipment is the wrong size and very crude. It doesn't work. At high altitudes, these materials will not contract or expand at the same rate, plus the gaps in matching to one another. Further, based on what is available, these materials may not be complementary. With varying measurements and pounding and forcing things into place, small cracks will be caused, or existing ones will be expanded. I couldn't believe them slamming a piece in place with hammers and bolts. So the repairing process is very worrying in the eyes of an aerospace engineer. Another Twitter user left such a comment when I tweeted this video. What I saw in the video was that the Chinese drilled many holes and used brute force to nail the patches on. I doubt Boeing would approve such a method. The inner wall of the fuselage is a pressurized chamber which must be kept airtight and needs to be welded, and drilling holes will reduce the strength of the mechanism. As to the outer skin erosion of the fuselage, it should also be replaced instead of putting in patches only. However, I've done some research and found that the registration numbers of the two repaired ones are, so this is B2688. You can see the number on the plane. And another registration number is B2502. So those are the two repaired ones. And the registration number for the crashed plane is B1791. So if all the numbers are correct ones, we can say that the crashed one is not one of the two planes repaired by Chinese Eastern Airlines itself. However, this doesn't mean that Eastern Airlines doesn't have a problem with its maintenance routines. If saving cost is the #1 priority, you'll have to sacrifice quality and safety sometimes, right? Another viewer who has retired from airline maintenance wrote to me and said that he believed the crash is technical. He said this in his email: "Not so many people think about the hostile environment found at 30,000 feet. Explosive decompression undoubtedly left the passengers and the crew unconscious, if not dead. I have little doubt no one was conscious after the aircraft was in pieces." He also said substandard maintenance could also result in the extreme rear the wings fell off, an airliner type accident. And without wings, the plane would look like a missile crashing, as seen in the video we played last time. He also gave me some materials to study. So according to definition, uncontrolled decompression is an unplanned drop in the pressure of a sealed system, such as an aircraft cabin. And explosive decompression is violent and too fast for air to escape safely from the lungs and other air-filled cavities in the body, typically resulting in severe to fatal barotrauma. So his theory is if the wings broke off the plane, explosive decompression could happen. So all the crew and passengers were unconscious, if not dead. He said explosive decompression occurs at a rate swifter than that at which air can escape from the lungs, typically in less than 0.1 to 0.5 seconds. If this is true, it can explain why the crew didn't send any emergency code during the 2 minutes of diving down. This viewer also reminded me that if aircraft parts such as wings, tails were separated from the main body earlier in flight, they should be found far from the crash site. I did read a report this morning saying that search and rescue personnel found a suspected aircraft wreckage fragment about 1.3 meters in length and 10 centimeters in width in a farm field in Wutang Group, Siwang Village in Wuzhou County. This is about 10 kilometers from the core of the accident site. It is expected that the search area on the 24th will be 1.5 times larger than the previous day. So I sent this piece of information to him, and he then asked me whether this Siwang village is to the west of the main impact point. I had no idea, but I did some research and found that yes, it is to the west indeed. And look at this map. The red circle on the left is Siwang village. The red circle on the right is the so-called main impact point. And this map is from Baidu map. The starting point of this road on the left is Siwang village, and the ending point on the right is called Shentangbiao. It is the main crash site. So if the wreckage fragment was found 10 kilometers west of the crash site, it means it fell off first as the plane was flying to the east. He also asked me to look at this photo of the wing. It shows no fire damage. He said, after watching the crash video several more times, I cannot see any wings or tail. It may be only a section of the fuselage. Also, the fact that few bodies have been recovered is another indication of in-flight breakup, quite unusual. Maintenance, he also said maintenance records shouldn't be easily available to the public. One normally needs insider info for that. He said aircraft structural failures are unusual, but maintenance mistakes have caused several in-flight breakups before. The most notable cases are the incident with American Airlines Flight 191 in 1979 and the Japan Airlines Flight 123 in 1985. On May 25, 1979, the left engine of the American Airlines Flight 191 detached when it was taken off, causing a loss of control, so it crashed less than a mile from the end of the runway. All 258 passengers and 13 crew on board were killed, along with 2 people on the ground. So this is the report about that incident. With 273 fatalities, it is the deadliest aviation accident to have occurred in the United States. The Japan Airlines Flight 123 incident happened on August 12, 1955, while flying from Tokyo to Osaka. A Boeing 747SR operating this route suffered a sudden decompression 12 minutes into the flight and crashed into some mountains. It was later concluded that the rapid decompression was caused by a faulty repair by Boeing technicians after tail strike incident during a landing in the previous year. So 15 crew members and 505 of the 509 passengers died. So that was 520 altogether. It is the deadliest single aircraft incident in aviation history. Well, the latest news is family members of the Eastern Airlines crash who wanted to go to the search site were stopped by local authorities. Some of them were given talks by CCP officials. When tragedies in China happen, we don't usually expect to get the truth or true answers for the causes of the tragedies. Anyone still remember this chained mother we talked about a lot a while ago? While the news about the crashed plane became the hottest in the past few days, this Twitter user found that when she searched for the topic about the chained mother, no results was found. There is only one sentence saying that according to relevant laws and policies, the topic page is not displayed. So this user said, as expected, she had disappeared quietly, together with more than 6 billion hits on this page about her. The chained mother is still a living human being, but we can't even know where she is today. So what can we expect to find out about what happened to the blown up plane and about those 132 victims whose bodies or remains remain to be found? Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate the input of the viewers who have some knowledge of the aviation industry. I learned a lot from you. Also, a big thank you to all of my viewers and for those who have subscribed to my membership or made a donation at my website at jenniferzengblog.com. Without your support, I can hardly carry on. Thank you. See you next time.